Joining me now is Democratic Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, who serves on the Foreign Relations Committee. He's also a National Advisory Board member for President Biden's reelection bid. Senator Murphy, thank you for being here. Let's talk first about this new foreign policy ad from the president's reelection campaign. We'll talk about that in a second, I should say. But first, what are you expecting from this G20 summit, especially as it relates to China, their global economic influence, but also the military? The New York Times has a helpful map, actually, that shows China's expanding military presence around the world. How concerning is it for you, and should that be a major topic for the president to discuss?
There's no doubt that China is growing in military prominence and prowess, but their primary diplomatic tool today is economic aid. And so the hardest work that's going to be done at the G20 summit is going to be on this topic of bringing together the world's democracies to try to make sure that we can match China when it comes to the offers that they make, especially in developing countries, to buy up their port infrastructure or to purchase mineral rights. What China wants to do is essentially capture the highways and railways of global commerce so that they can own a monopoly over at least certain targeted trades, and we can't let that happen. So you're going to see a pretty big announcement at this summit between the United States, India, and some of our Middle East partners to build a new infrastructure linkage between India and the Middle East. And I think you're also going to see some big commitments from our partners to put money into these global development funds so that we can make sure China's not the only one putting an offer on the table when a port comes up for bid in North Africa. So the military spending increases in China, certainly worrisome, an important topic. I think that's why Biden is going to be coming back for the summit of the Quad in a few months, but probably global development funding, the most important task for the United States and our allies right now.
I assume Ukraine will also be on the agenda as well. Secretary Blinken yesterday saying that the counteroffensive against Russia is making what he called tangible progress. The president has asked Congress for billions more in aid. How concerned are you that House Republicans will not agree to that? It seems as though the support is there on your side of the chamber, but what about on the other side?
So I'm worried. You've heard some reporting that Republicans in the House are contemplating using Ukraine aid as a hostage, essentially to get right-wing policies passed that have nothing to do with Ukraine aid. That message in and of itself is really dangerous, because if Ukraine and Ukrainian soldiers feel like they are being sold out by their allies, at least on the Republican side in the Congress, that has real consequences for this increasingly successful offensive. But, to the point that we were just talking about, India is a key player here as well. India and China right now are essentially providing Russia with the funding it needs to keep this campaign going, because India and China are both buying huge amounts of Russian oil. And so ultimately, the two keys in many ways to who wins this conflict between Russia and Ukraine is whether the United States keeps supporting the Ukrainian military, and whether at some point India and China draw a harder line with Russia and tell them that if they don't end this abomination of a campaign, they will stop financing it through oil sales.
All right, let's play some of that ad from President Biden's reelection campaign, centering on the president's surprise visit to Ukraine in February. Take a look.
He entered Ukraine under the cover of night. And in the morning, Joe Biden walked shoulder to shoulder with our allies in the war-torn streets, standing up for democracy in a place where a tyrant is waging war to take it away.
Air raid sirens blared as the two men walked together.
In the middle of a war zone, Joe Biden showed the world what America is made of. That's the quiet strength of a true leader who doesn't back down to a dictator.
So, Senator, the president certainly has succeeded in uniting American allies against Russia. But domestically, though, he's still dealing with poor job approval numbers, and some hypothetical matchups even show him tied to Donald Trump in 2024. How do you break through with this message? And does that resonate with Americans?
Well, I think it's a really important message because this president has rehabilitated America's role in the world. America is safer under President Biden, and his likely opponent, Donald Trump, has made it perfectly clear that Trump is going to use the presidency in order to enrich himself and his family, and that he will likely, on day one, sell Ukraine down the river, hand that country to Vladimir Putin. That is not something the American public supports, and this advertisement is showing the effectiveness of this president on foreign policy, how he has made this nation safer. And listen, that matters to the people I represent, but though Trump is not mentioned in the ad, it certainly is a very clear contrast with Trump's presidency and a future potential Trump presidency in which he will just leverage the White House for his own personal gain.
And then before you go, Senator, the Fulton County Special Grand Jury just recommended that your current colleague, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, be indicted, and also that several of your ex-colleagues also be indicted. They were not. But does it concern you at all that his name came up in this report?
I have not seen that report, so I'll refrain from commenting. Obviously, Lindsey and I have some pretty significant disagreements when it comes to the effectiveness of President Trump to serve this country, but I have not read the report that you're referencing, and before I talk about one of my colleagues and friends, I'll take a look at it.